Module 17, Digitalizing Marketing. Lesson 2, Visibility Online and Digital Marketing Content. 1. Introduction to Content Marketing. Content marketing is a strategic marketing approach focused on the creation and distribution of valuable, relevant, and consistent non-commercial content to attract and retain a clearly defined audience and to drive their purchase. We will have to ask ourselves the following questions: what, where, how long, when, who. 2. Generating ideas for content creation. Ideation process in 4 phases: collecting raw materials, digest the collected materials, process the material unconsciously. Eureka moment, an interesting and useful idea for the content strategy. Aspects that we must take into account. Analyze the content consumption habits of buyer persons. Analyze what the competition is doing. Investigate the doubts or questions that the public may be raising in digital media. Analyze our own search engine optimization practices for our material. 3. Empathy maps. The objective of an empathy map is to help content developer to conceive content that interests a brand's audience by empathizing with them. All these questions have to be answered. Goals: what do you see? What it says? What does it do? What do you hear? What does he think? And what does he feel? The empathy map is an exercise that will help us to identify topics on which to develop valuable content to meet the objectives we have set with the content plan. 4. Planning a long-term content strategy. The ultimate goal of planning a content marketing strategy is to create a plan that can articulate long-term efforts, that can guide all content marketing-related actions over a 1-year period. The idea is to determine what content is needed, when it is needed, and for what purpose. The plan has to respond specifically to smart marketing objectives. A content plan is a monthly calendar with the objectives, the topics to work on, the keywords to be used, the inbound marketing campaigns in which this content is used, and the publication channels. 5. Building a framework for content creation. Once we have developed the long-term content plan, it is time to turn it into real, time-bound actions. The following steps can be taken: conceptualize the content, establish deadlines for the creation of content, divide responsibilities, reviewing content, publishing and advertising, archive and organize content internally, analyze the results of the content. 6. Appropriate content for each stage of the buyer's journey and closing and loyalty content. The type of content is determined by the buyer's journey, which has 3 phases: awareness, research, and decision. Engagement content. Make the consumer aware of the brand. Alternative research content. Consumer is familiar with the company and needs more information. Decision content or supplier research. Customer is comparing between products or services. Closing and loyalty content. Once the sale has been achieved, the aim is to make them buy again. 7. Techniques for generating original and eye-catching content. Relate the topic to a topic that is generally recognized as interesting or fascinating. Relating opposites. Be very specific. Storytelling. Customers don't buy a product or service, they buy the emotion it makes them feel and the meaning it has for them to have something from the brand. 8. Calls to action and persuasive content. Some aspects to consider generating persuasive content: who you are, authority and authenticity. What do you offer? What can you do for the buyer persona? Special benefits that your product can bring compared to others. Call to action must be specific, clear, and not requiring any interpretation. Risk reverse by introducing risk control elements into our content.